Would you tell somebody was wanted to get into the wholesaling business?
Um, to first make sure that you understand the mind of an investor. That is
Okay.
the most important thing because people really don't understand that wholesaling is under the umbrella of investing, right? Wholesaling is just one of the many exit strategies that an investor has.
Okay.
Wholesaling is very, very appealing to many because you don't need much capital to get in the game. So a
Okay.
lot of people want to do it. And yes, it is rather lucrative. But what they don't understand is that if you're walking in blind and you don't understand the needs of the your fellow investor who is going to ultimately buy the home, as well as the needs of the homeowner who's trying to release themselves of the home,
Hmm.
um, you can get yourself in some pretty sticky situations.
Hmm.
Most importantly, you need to understand that you need to know your state real estate laws and
Oh.
recognize that you are not a realtor, you are not a real estate agent, so stay in your lane. You're
Mm-mm.
selling houses. You are getting a house under contract. It is a signable contract.
Uh-huh.
You're assigning your rights. So you have to understand it. And that's basically it. You need to understand that first, because if not, if you're just going off of one YouTube video, then my dear, you're going to be in a whole heap of trouble real fast. Real fast. Just ask any real estate agent, especially any real estate attorneys out there. Uh,
Uh-huh.
the ones that you need to befriend first
Uh-huh.
and build relationships with first.
Yeah.
Befriend them and show respect to the industry in and of itself.
Yeah.
Because depending on how you navigate this space, you can either build a good name for yourself or you can get blackballed. You don't want
Oh.
you don't
I
want
can see how that could happen. Yeah.
yeah, because real estate is a small community.
Uh-huh.
Because it is, it's a rather small community. Even in a big city like DC, it's a rather small community.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did you was this something that you went in on your own, or was this like a venture with family or spouse or another business partner?
It was me, myself, and I. My favorite trio. My favorite trio. You know, we're a great act together. We lean on each other. But I did enlist the help and guidance of seasoned investors. Like one, I will always shout her name for the rooftop is Nita Davidson.
Shout
Um,
out.
Shout out Nita Davidson. She goes on Instagram as House Hunter 216. She is
Okay.
a phenomenal investor out of Cleveland,
Hmm.
Ohio. And yeah, I enlisted her help. I still bug her to this day. And I am nothing without her. I really, really am nothing without that amazing woman. So that also goes to the fact that invest in education
Uh-huh.
because I at first I took her course and then I just continued to bug her and I just now we're friends now. I just adore her.
Yeah.
But that's an education, but also to remember that the power you have is building within your network and
Hmm.
making sure you have an abundance mentality.
Yeah.
Those who those who are dog eat dog and are trying to backbite each other, nobody wins.
Yeah.
Nobody wins.
I
Just
agree.
now, not too long ago, the other day, that was a deal that came on my table, and I recognized, no, I'm not the best fit for this. This is for my other partner down in this area of Virginia. They're the best fit for this.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could have been greedy and said, oh, I want to offer myself, but there's enough to go around
Oh,
everybody.
absolutely.
There's more
That
than enough to go around.
it is. It's business days of late 20s to about the mid 30s. I was always I was probably more than helpful and always believed in giving a little bit of away for free, and and building that rapport with people, and then give with the expectation down the road that hopefully it would come back to me in the way of business.
Mhm.
And in the beginning, I didn't, it was okay that if it didn't. And then I think because I just became cynical because of the situation I was in at the time, towards the very end of our cycle of, of that old business, that I just became cynical, that I was just kind of tired. But after obviously, listening and watching everything of Gary Vee's, as you're also a Gary Vee fan, I can say this to you that he reminded me of that, you know, do not give with that. If you're going to give, the reason he never gets upset or hurt or things of that sort when it comes to is because he doesn't take it, he has no expectations.
Exactly.
And that was something I, had early on, lost, forgot, whatever you want to call it. And now starting over again, I'm very much like, yeah, hey, if you want to learn something about podcasting, then let me show you. Or, social media, those are, really, social media is more, my thing. I'm always willing to share my knowledge because, I believe sharing is caring, and I'm trying to be a company. I want to podcast for as long as I possibly can, and do side gigs until I figure out what I want to do next in life, But here, it's not something that's for me. Like you knew that you weren't the right fit. Why are you going to fake it till you make it type of thing?
No.
And it's, when I hear those terms, fake it till you make it, it makes me cringe now.
Me too. Yeah.
So I think you're doing an amazing job. So I commend you because I do follow you on the Insta. The standing question of this podcast is, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh my goodness, Kimberly, I need a full podcast for that. I need a full podcast. Oh my word.
20s, 30s, and I don't know how old you are, but
Oh, I am happily 35.
Yay! You happily 35. Way younger than 35. I'm happily 45, so believe me, your advice will be different in 10 more years.
I know. That's what my sister says. She tells me that all the time. I feel, okay, in a nutshell, in a sound bite, since this is a podcast, I would tell her that she does not need anyone's permission to live her life, to stop waiting for everyone's permission. Because I don't want to get spiritual, but I will say this. The blessing she needed to recognize then was that God co-signed on her dreams a long time ago.
Yes.
That's
Amen.
it.
Amen.
That's it. He co-signed on her dreams a long time ago. Stop waiting for your friends, your family, your auntie, your cousin. No.
Anybody,
Anybody. Especially, I feel like as women, we have this bad habit of waiting for some type of confirmation before we proceed on a new venture in life.
Mm-hmm.
And that has held me back for many, 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 many years.
Yeah.
And so, no more. I would tell her that first. And number two, I would also tell her that everyone's faking it. No one knows what they're doing out here. Nobody knows what they're doing out here.
Except for Gary. I'm going to say that.
I know. I know. That's another. We need to have a podcast dedicated. We're just going to call it Dear Gary. The more practice I get, I'm down for it. We'll do an homage to. Yes.
Because people in my industry, multifamily, when they think I'm, starstruck or whatever. And when I try to, in the beginning, when I try to explain why I value his, and I follow his advice, because meeting him, because he was so gracious, even the first time I ever met him,
How many times have you met him now?
Just twice, but the first time when we were at the same conference that you and I met at, it was the first time I'd ever seen someone speak, or the head of the conference be so humble and kind to shake. I was the third person, and I thought it was like I was being sneaky. And then there's a whole line behind me, and he talked to looked at you in the eye. I didn't even know what to tell him, and there was so much that, and then the second time me and this other friend of mine, new friend that I met at the conference, that had never been to a real estate, type of conference, because he came from HR. It was, we both ran into him at the ATM because I had been to that Anatole so many times that I was like, hey, let's walk around. We'll probably run into him, I know just about every entrance, because conferences, I'd been to different ones in different places within that hotel area. Mm-hmm. And we ran into him, and I was just bawling in tears because now I was ready to tell him. But then we were just so he was at the ATM. I mean, And then we got up front, and then the gentleman I'm talking about, Zane, he was the one who asked for the job, for the internship, and now he's going
up with him. I wonder how he's doing now.
He's doing good. We actually kept in touch. He just, I think he got there on Monday or Tuesday this past week. You had said, about giving yourself permission and, the faking about that nobody knows what they're doing.
No one knows.
Correct. They're all learning. And the difference between those who, like for you, when you said, hey, I got a deal and I knew that wasn't for me, and you weren't going to fake it till you make it, you passed it to someone.
Yeah.
That's the difference, is to, what you're good at. And hey, by all means, but you should still share that advice as well. But what I learned from and getting comfortable from following and watching Gary was that your name is everything. Your reputation, they call it influencers now, but it was your own branding, your own, reputation back in the day, and I've always had that. I've always been a very, I hated the fake it till you make it, terminology.
Yeah.
Didn't understand until just recently why.
Yeah, because to me, I feel like fake it till you make it also coincides with the issue of imposter syndrome, right? Like this whole idea of like you're faking it and you're faking it, and then you feel bad that you're faking it, and it's just this horrible slope. So why not just be transparent about where you are and where you're going, and who wants to join you will join on the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So that is great. I agree with the advice to your younger self. And then when we do another one in 10 years, or when you watch this in 10 years, you're going to be like, okay, this is my new advice to my younger, to my 45 self. Yeah. So
I do. That's it. That's really, really it.
Well, that's awesome. Tell people how they can get a hold of you if they want to connect with you.
The best way is to like and follow on Instagram. On Instagram, I go as the Kaizen Investor.
Okay.
As well as you can reach out to me at my email is jordan@percivalherald.com.
Again?
jordan@percivalherald.com.
You're going to soon have a LinkedIn profile, because I'm going to help you with that.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes, I will.
And maybe even a Facebook group soon.
Yes, and yes. I think I said all of that.
So keep a lookout for all those folks.
Yeah, stay tuned, everybody. Yeah.
Well, awesome.
So really.
I appreciate you so much, and giving me your time, and to all the listeners out there, thank you for joining us. And if any of Gia's advice was valuable to you, or somebody who could use it, please send this episode to them. Maybe leave a comment or a review on the podcast or wherever you see this. And remember, until next week, stay positive, and remember, sharing is caring. See ya. Bye. Thanks, Gia.
Thank you. Bye.